What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me here today on this Wednesday, April 19th, 2023 for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction. Coming to you from the MOD Crypt as always, bringing you the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. Check out Metal Ben's Chronicles, Damage Incorporated, Justin Horrible, and a few others like Ken's Death Metal Crypt. You got some great creators there, brutally honest creators as well, that aren't afraid to tell the fucking truth and how they feel about metal and all that other stuff. If you missed anything in the past week, click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen and the annotations will come down. You'll get caught up on everything. I'd appreciate it. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Up front, opinionated and giving in only the underground right here on MOD. I want to welcome you once again to Album Ranking Wednesdays here on the channel. Tonight we're going deep beneath the earth into Ohio, yes folks, for a look at one of the most incredible death metal bands of all time, and also the pioneers of horror-themed death metal with Necrophagia. Yes, that's right, folks. I figured it was time to redo this one since I've gotten so much better at my content, my editing, and things of that nature. Plus, my ranking for this band changed quite significantly. Now, before we get into the ranking, I'm going to give you guys a quick bio on the band. Along with San Francisco's Possessed and Florida's Death, Ohio's Necrophagia were one of the pioneering death metal bands of the mid-80s, forming in 1983 by vocalist Killjoy. Rest in peace. We miss you, Frank Pucci. Fucking love you, bro. Whose love of Venom only barely exceeded his passion for slasher films. Now, Necrophagia first made waves with their Death is Fun demo of 1985. 2 years later, they hooked up with New Renaissance label and unleashed their naturally coarse but very influential debut, 1987's Season of the Dead. However, Ready for Death was supposed to be released a year earlier, but because of controversy and a few legal things, battles and stuff like that, and some turmoil in the band, that album got delayed until 1990, so Season of the Dead would take its place in 87. But shortly after the release of Season of the Dead, the remaining band members, guitarist Larry Madison, bassist Bill James, and drummer Joe Blazer fell out with Killjoy over matters of musical direction, which would end up spelling Necrophagia's premature breakup. Now, if you guys want more of a history on Necrophagia, become an MOD Elite VIP. Go listen to my exclusive members-only podcast on the history of Necrophagia. Now, we also tragically lost Frank Killjoy Pucci on March the 18th of 2018, and this was a very fucking sad day in the world of metal, and let's face it, without Necrophagia being one of the pioneers of death metal, it would not be half of what it is today. Alright, let's get into the ranking. Coming in at number 7, Death Trip 69, released in 2011 on Season of Mist Records. This is a really decent Necrophagia album. They don't have a bad release in my opinion. This one was a lot more like groove-oriented. There is a lot of brutality and stuff here, but I like the atmosphere on this one, and it just went in some different directions. They did bring some new stuff to the table with Death Trip 69, but this one is a very, almost like, kind of like Bad Acid Trip style death metal. There's some really great songwriting here. I love a lot of the musicianship, and of course Killjoy's vocals on this record are absolutely killer. Death Trip 69 from Necrophagia gets number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Harvest Ritual Volume 1, released in 2005 on Redstream Inc. I enjoy this album quite a bit. It does have some memorable tracks. There's some incredible low-churning, gut-wrenching riffing on this. Very great atmosphere here, very horror themed. This one's very centered around Halloween, and I mean, a lot of Michael Myers themes going on here. There's a lot of passion and emotion on this record. Great guitar work on here as well. Of course, the keyboard work from Moai of Psy made his appearance on this album too, and really great stuff here with Harvest Ritual Volume 1. I really enjoy this record a lot. It gets number 6. Coming in at number 5, their debut album, Season of the Dead, released in 1987 on New Renaissance Records. I know a lot of people might have this one at number 1. It's my ranking, not yours. Fucking deal with it. I do enjoy this album a lot, but it would not become what we would see Necrophagia do next on Holocausto de la Muerte. And of course, Ready for Death and things of that nature. I do like this album for a debut. It is very unique, and Killjoy's vocals on here are very unique as well. But it just kind of feels a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. It's still a good album, but it's not one of my favorites from Necrophagia. I do enjoy it. We'll be getting it because I want to get all their albums. But yeah, Season of the Dead is still a good album for what it is. I just like the direction they went afterwards a lot more. It gets number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have their sophomore release, Ready for Death, released in 1990 on New Renaissance Records. Much better than Season of the Dead. A lot more harsh, a lot more horror themed, a lot more brutal and death metal focused. And just extremely grim and morbid and rotting, slime-ridden filth. And the guitar work, the drums and the bass, the production still has that raw feel to it. And Ready for Death is a fucking great album from Necrophagia, and I love the songwriting on here and the musicianship and Killjoy's vocals. Fucking awesome. Ready for Death gets number 4. Coming in at number 3, the album I own from them right now, The Divine Art of Torture, released in 2003 on Season of Mist Records. Moai from Psy, definitely on the keyboards here. This is a really awesome album, and I feel like this one is criminally underrated by people on certain websites and things like that. This album is very horror-themed, very focused on creating like a disturbing, horror-themed, terror-filled atmosphere, and I think it succeeds in that. Very crushing, bone-shattering riffs on here. Lots of low-end guitar work. There's some really great, just slow builds to some brutal heaviness on this album, and I think the songwriting, some of their best work here. Killjoy's vocals, of course, absolutely immaculate, along with the musicianship. And the atmosphere from Y on the keyboards, I think, did a really great job. The Divine Art of Torture gets number 3. Coming in at number 2, one of their releases with Anton Crowley, aka Phil Anselmo, Holocausto della Morte, released in 1998 on Redstream. Their first release after Ready for Death, with Phil Anselmo coming back in. This album is very, very focused on George Romero's zombie themes, and a lot of his undead stuff makes an appearance here. There's a lot of like love letters to George Romero on this record, and it has that like Night of the Living Dead atmosphere. Very terrifying and incredible stuff. Songwriting is on point, great musicianship, great vocal work here from Killjoy. Definitely going to be getting all of these guys' albums, but yeah, Holocausto della Morte gets number 2. Coming in at number 1, the last release we would see for them with White Worm Cathedral, released in 2014 on Season of Mist Records. This takes everything that they did before and combines it onto a mammoth of a goddamn masterpiece. This album is crushing, it's atmospheric, it's terrifying, it's horror-themed, it's gross, depraved, rotting, slime-ridden filth. And Killjoy's vocals on here reach another level, because some of the stuff that he comes up with in his vocals here, as well as lyrically, is just bone-chilling. This is an amazing, amazing experience. Lots of keyboard work here, once again, from Y, from Psy, and I think that definitely brought a new, brought the elements of that better atmosphere of the albums that he's on. I actually prefer the albums that Moai is on from Psy, because those keyboards just add so much to Necrophagia's horror-themed, terrifying atmosphere, and I fucking love White Worm Cathedral. Definitely going to be picking up this one. This one gets number 1 from Necrophagia. Alright guys, there you have it, another album ranking in the books here on MOD. Hope you enjoyed the premiere here today. If you're new, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for notifications. Merchandise on the homepage. Janelle is working on new merch. That's going to be great. She's going to be coming up with some cool designs. Join the channel right now, become an MLD Elite VIP. You get great perks, $2.49 for your first month, $4.99 thereafter. Hit the join button, you get access to exclusive content, review requests within reason, banner interviews, and promotions. I'm going to be interviewing Cryptworm on the 24th, as well as Holocaust. Metal Bands Chronicles will be interviewed here as well, and Cadaver Right. Yeah, you get members-only live streams and collaborations. So speaking of that, Brothers from Hell Fridays, we just did Possessed 7 Churches over there on Metal Bench Chronicles. Go subscribe to him and MOD. Brothers from Hell Fridays was a great, great time. It's always a good time there. Have an awesome night, guys. We will see you for Top 15 Thursdays. Hail.